this whole shit where he gets his ass kicked and thrown on the net. Number one, why didn't they kill him? Number two,
this is all pre-haircut.
Yeah.
So you got to put it into it.
No. After the haircut,
his peripheral vision was off.
It's true. You made a good point. I've changed my mind entirely. I don't even know what I was saying. I must have gone mad for a second.
All right, everybody, welcome to Nerds of a Certain Vintage. As always, I am Patrick.
And I'm Andy.
And we are nerds who are here for our podcast proper for Sunday, June 9th. No, 8th. June 8th.
June 8th.
Sunday, June 8th.
Wow, man. Andy's month is going by really slowly. I'm glad to see this. Yeah, it's fantastic.
Let's see what 2 days means in the grand scheme of things.
In 2 more days, I might be like, man, it's just flying by.
Well, listen, this is our Sunday proper podcast where we're talking about the theme of the month, and it's Andy's month.
That's right.
Yeah.
And the theme is Korean action movies.
Yeah, and so we watched Madongseok.
We did not watch Madongseok. We're probably going to do a deep dive on Madongseok.
Well, hey, that's
what is it? Don Lee?
Don Lee.
Don Lee, yeah. I'm actually a big fan of him. I've seen a bunch of his movies.
Yeah, of course. Hey, by the way, I'm up into my watch. Eternals is next.
Oh, Eternals is next.
Yeah, this is where we actually follow through on the list that we did last week.
Yes.
And we came up with a bunch of movies. I realized afterwards, we didn't actually tell our listener what we were going to watch.
No, we did.
Did we?
Yeah.
Did we say, like...
We said we're pretty...
I thought it was like...
We're pretty much...
If it's free, we're going to watch this.
Well, no, we said it's pretty much The Man from Nowhere, unless we can't find it on streaming, and then we're going to watch The Witch. That's what we said. Guess what?
We found
The Man from Nowhere.
And boy, am I happy that we found The Man from Nowhere.
You would have been happy if we watched The Witch, man. That thing
No. I'm saying that because I really enjoyed this movie.
But this was a great film.
Yeah.
I mean... I have become a huge fan of the Korean action flicks because, I don't know, American films have gotten a little overloaded with. I mean, there's some virtue signaling frequently in them, but the action films in Korea are just straight up. This is like old Hollywood. Like they're just making a movie. They don't care whether this is politically incorrect to have children. Having their corneas, harvested.
Well, this was 2006 as well, so...
back when cornea harvesting was entirely, to be expected in a film, yeah.
No, I mean, reflecting back on it, there's a couple of twists in the storytelling that could be seen as, like, a hat on a hat, but...
Oh, you have to explain what that term means. I'm not.
It's just a little bit too much. It's like, do you really need that?
Oh, okay.
But I don't like. The more I think about it, I'm like,
it's like sunglasses over sunglasses.
Exactly. Yes, the more well-known saying, sunglasses over sunglasses.
I don't think hat on top of a hat is a well-known saying.
I think it is.
I've never heard of this.
If we Googled both of those right now, how many results would we get?
Considering that I made up sunglasses over sunglasses, because I was thinking of airplanes.
Do you think
you remember an airplane where he takes the glasses off and he's got other glasses on there? I was like, okay.
Yeah.
If you looked it up, you would get, airplane.
Oh, airplane.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, what I'm talking about specifically is there's a twist where it's not quite clear who the bad guys are and what their relationships are. Right? Now, maybe culturally there's this thing, there's the Korean guy and the Chinese guys, and
I'm not sure who's... There was reference to Chinese, but I didn't know who were Chinese. I tell you what, before we get started, can you go to the summary?
Of course I can. I've already got it.
I was hoping you would. You seem to be prepared most of the time.
You want the...
You know who's not prepared? Who has 2 thumbs and is never prepared?
That's not quite true. Sometimes you're prepared.
Sometimes.
You're prepared to get riled up for a list.
That's right. Oh, I'm so pissed off.
So, let's see. So, here's the IMDb.
Mm-hmm.
A quiet pawn shopkeeper with a violent past takes on a drug and organ trafficking ring in hopes of saving the child who is his only friend.
Okay, that's a little better.
That's a pretty straither's.
Yeah. We had read a summary that indicated, quiet pawn shop owner when he becomes acquainted with the daughter of the neighbor and when she and her daughter are taken by organ traffickers, he goes to find her. I was like, that's not quite right.
You want to hear the Rotten Tomatoes review?
Sure.
Or the
Summary?
description?
Yeah.
Get ready to be riled up.
Exactly. Well, that was the thing.
This is shorter. All right.
Oh, it's shorter than the one we just read?
Oh, of course.
How
yes.
could that be possible?
Let's see. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 words.
These guys suck, man.
Not only that, but like one of those words is really wrong.
One of the 8 words is not correct.
All right,
Okay.
So here's what we got. An ex-con is lured back into the drug trade.
That's got to be a different movie.
It's The Man from Nowhere.
It's got to be a different
2010, The Man from Nowhere.
movie. They even have the year right.
Yes.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
An ex-con? He's not an ex-con.
He's not a criminal law.
He's not lured back into the drug trade.
So here's the thing. You tell me.
Definitely not.
You tell me. He was an American military intelligence officer, right?
I got the sense that he was a Korean.
Okay.
Yeah.
I couldn't
But
quite
he was
tell.
kind of like
Remember
the special forces. They farm those guys out.
They pulled a trick on Homeland Security so that they could get his information.
Of course. Yeah. They
Okay.
emailed a death threat to the Obamas.
Exactly.
I kill you.
Yeah, exactly. It was short. It was concise. You know, that's what you want in a death threat as far as it goes. So anyway, so we should summarize the movie real quick since this is a terrible summary.
That is definitely.
Yeah. But it's a beautifully written sort of film.
Yeah.
And the character development is really awesome because it's.
I have the Wikipedia if you want, but it's longer. It's like 4 paragraphs.
Well, I don't want to go that long, but it's essentially it's a
especially since it's full of a bunch of Korean names that you feel like.
I'm not. I think people should go and watch this movie, so I don't really want to necessarily like dissect it from top to bottom. But
yeah, I mean, but look, this isn't a big spoiler to say our protagonist kind of like wins at the end. I don't know. Like,
well, no, it's a mystery.
He gets his like vengeance.
Okay, well, we'll start with this. Just the setup.
Okay.
This guy, he lives in a building, and he
manages a pawn shop.
And his apartment is kind of a pawn shop. Like it has a little gate, and people can come and sell him stuff. Yeah. And there's a girl that lives in the building who has befriended him, and he is a grouchy motherfucker. Like he takes care.
Knowing his backstory, I kind of get it too.
He takes care of her and helps her out.
Got squished.
Yeah.
She got squished.
Well, we'll get to that. Let's not.
That's a lot of blood.
Yeah, let's not bury the lead here. You know what I mean?
No, you're the one burying the lead. I'm the one bringing the lead right up front.
You're right. I'm burying the lead as deep as I can bury it. We'll get to the lead later on. But so he's a tall, thin guy with long hair that covers his face except for one eye.
Yeah.
And he's grouchy as shit. He's a curmudgeon.
Yeah.
He runs the pawn shop in the building.
But this girl still likes him.
There's a little girl who is
80 years old, maybe.
Well, her mother is a heroin addict.
Yeah.
And she was unwanted. She was an unwanted pregnancy. So she tells him early on in the movie, my nickname is Garbage. Because her mother told her that nobody wants her and that she's garbage, and so
apparently
that's her
when her mother found out she was pregnant, she kicked a garbage can.
Yeah, so somebody in the neighborhood told her that was now her nickname or something. It was just a very sad story.
And she's like, "Isn't that funny?" And we're both like, "No, that is definitely not funny
at all." And
I feel bad for you. Can I give you a hug, little girl?
Exactly. On the movie screen, can I reach through this film screen and give you?
Well acted, by the way. This is for a child actor. She did a really good job.
But in all honesty, the Korean child actors, for the most part, are really good. Some not so much, but once again, what are you expecting, right?
Yeah.
Like not everything is Haley Joel Osment, right? But
like, would we even know?
Yeah,
That's the problem,
I know.
Right?
Yeah, we don't understand what they're saying.
Yeah.
They're emoting, but I don't know what they're saying.
Oh my gosh.
Huh.
Holy cow.
Huh.
I'm sorry.
Yeah?
I've just been really distracted.
What?
The little girl is, in the movie, the little girl's name is Jung So-mi.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So-mi. The actress named Kim Se-ron. Born July 31st, 2000.
Okay.
So in this movie, she would have been about 10.
Yeah.
9.
Yeah, now she's 25.
Died February 15th of this year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
February 16th of this year. So that's why I said, what? What?
Yeah.
What?
That's a little bit shocking. Yeah. But anyway, they have a relationship. The little girl downloads music onto her MP3 player, and then she sells it.
The cutest of ever MP3 players.
Yeah. And she sells it to the pawn shop guy so that he can listen to it. He gives her like $1.50, and so they have this relationship. And when her mom is all like rocked out on heroin, she comes down to his place and he lets her sleep over and
get some food.
Yeah, he feeds her and stuff. Yeah. And
he's a decent guy. He's just a curmudgeon.
Yeah. Well,
he's like the old man
from Up. Yeah, there's a whole reference in the thing where the mom is like, he's a pedophile, like, stay away from him.
Yeah.
And he's just like, oh, like, you think
30 seconds before, like,
she comes down.
trying to mack on him.
Yeah, she comes down and, like,
stay away from my daughter. Don't do anything with her. But I would date you. You're kind of okay looking. She sells him, or, like, leaves her camera case and camera with him and says, you're cute. I would date you. And he's like, no thanks. He didn't even say no thanks. Yeah. He's just like,
he doesn't talk to people, man. Yeah. He's like not there.
Silent protagonists. Like, this is not just a silent. He's not like mute
no.
He's a man of few words.
There's a long line in American. Well, I say American cinema, but the first one that comes to mind is Clint Eastwood in the spaghetti western.
Yeah.
He just he's a guy who shows up and you can tell he's capable, and he's got nothing to say to you. Like he could take you out. Like
whatever he says is going to be important.
You don't know that, but he knows he can take you out, so he doesn't have to say anything to you.
Right.
So if you show up, and you're a heroin addict mom, and you're just macking on him, he's just like, I'm just sell me this thing and go away. He's not friendly. So
in his mind, he's also thinking like, I've had the love of my life. I'm not.
Well, that's
settling for heroin
again,
Barbie over here.
Anybody who listens to our podcast knows that we spoil the shit out of everything. So, the main
did I just spoil it?
Part of his driving force is that he was married. His wife was pregnant.
Yeah.
He's special forces. He took out some bad guys, and they came back for revenge, and they killed his wife in a. This is a trope that, like, Pat was not aware of this, but before it happened, I was like, okay, truck's coming, and a big giant garbage truck came and just crushed the car that his wife was in.
That truck
and
came in too.
And I was like, this is a trope in K-dramas.
Yeah.
There are runaway trucks like in every episode that kill people, and we're
so there's a distinction between a runaway truck and a purposefully smashed into truck.
Well, this is the thing.
What I mean? Like, that was a purposefully smashed.
Well, you have to watch more K-dramas because.
Do I though?
Yeah. It's very true. It's a very complex. There's a nuance here. Is all I'm saying. Is that there are runaway trucks, and then there are runaway trucks that are used as murder weapons, and then the truck driver is like, oh, the brakes failed, or I was drunk. And there was a scene in this movie where he was like trying to negotiate with the hero, and he's just like, all I'm asking for is 4 years in prison.
Yeah.
Because that's what they do, is they commit crimes, and then they get someone to confess to them and go to prison for them. And so they deal on that. That's a thing that happens in Korean dramas and especially the crime stories.
Yeah.
So that's what he was doing. And our hero is like, you're dead. Your brother's dead.
Everybody's you've dead. Ever known will be dead.
You give me this girl, and if you don't, and even if I find out she's died, then you're dead. You're all dead. And he's just like, hey, you don't know who you're talking to.
No, that's where he's like, he hung up on me.
Guess what? They're all dead. Yeah, exactly. I mean,
this guy, the bad guy, is not used to somebody like hanging up on him.
Shit to him. Yeah.
And he's like, that guy just hung up on me. What? Maybe the call got dropped. Maybe he went into a tunnel.
This is clearly a connection problem. You know what I mean?
With all those flip phones that they had.
So anyway, there's
so many razors.
The story is great because it's kind of complex, because you have the criminals doing their thing, you have the pawn shop guy,
and criminals setting up other criminals.
I'm just going to call him Pawn Shop Ghost.
Yeah,
because
Pawn Shop Ghost is
that's what his nickname. Yeah.
Pawn Shop Ghost and Garbage.
Because the other name we can use is his Korean name, and I don't remember it.
Chi Tai Sik.
Yeah. I'm still not gonna.
Pawn Shop Ghost.
Yeah.
And Garbage.
If it's not Madong Suk, I'm not. Yeah. I can't. Look, it's not sticking in my brain. Pawn Shop Ghost.
So the three bad guys, we got Top Golf. Right?
Top Golf.
No. Let me get through these.
He's secondary to the main bad guys, right?
All right. So we got Top Golf.
Yeah, he's a business
partner.
We
got Dolce Gabbana.
Yep.
And we got Axe Thrower.
No, where does Axe Thrower come in?
Oh, he goes and he grabs the axe out of the guy's hand.
Right. And he didn't throw it though.
No, axe. You want to call him Chopper? I'm just trying to lay the groundwork for the vocabulary we use.
Let's call him Bulletproof.
Bulletproof's pretty good.
Yeah.
All right, so we got Top Golf, Dolce Gabbana, and Bulletproof.
That's right.
And look, we've got a couple of cops that are on the hunt too. That are like, I don't know if this is a Korean thing, but like, there's always like the serious cop and the dumb cop. The goofball cop.
I was like, we got that. That's like, the Bill Paxton character. Yeah, man.
Okay.
He was,
and it's all playing out on his face.
Yeah.
Like, everything's playing out on his face.
Now the cops are just there to kind of get in the way, and that's fine. It works out, right? Like the movie starts with them trying to catch these bad guys. Like they've got a sting set up.
Right,
and
they're trying to catch Top Golf.
Yeah, they've been, what's the word? They've had a stakeout going on, right? And so they're going to catch.
This is like a 2-year kind of operation.
So they've got it set up. There's going to be a drop off of something, and it ends up being drugs.
Yeah,
and you have to understand too. This is another thing that happens in Korean dramas, in Korean movies, is that drugs are not a big part of those movies. Like, this is a thing that is just starting to take hold in Korea. Like, they've been able to keep it out for the most part. So, usually you have guns are a big thing because guns are illegal. You even talked about that movie where there was some explosive or something like that. Like, military weaponry. And most of the, like in the K-dramas, most of the criminal stuff is all about, like...
sticks and bats. Chair legs.
Pointed sticks. Yeah, exactly. Sharpened sticks. Yeah. No, it's usually real estate fraud is what happens a lot of the time.
That did not happen in this movie.
No, this was straight up about drugs back in 2010.
Well, not only drugs, but like organ harvesting as well.
I will say there's a lot of organ harvesting and human trafficking. The criminal things goes on a lot there.
Look, coming at this from a 2025 lens, I'm thinking like, you're grabbing these women, you're gonna human traffic them. No, you want the corneas.
Yeah,
like that,
you're harvesting.
You want to age them up until they're ripe, so that you can take the whole kit and caboodle.
And you kind of think about the culture, and you're like, is that what the culture is like? Because I remember we talked about Midnight Runner when we did the list, and that was the thing. They were harvesting eggs, and then they were going to sex traffic them. But the harvesting the eggs seemed to be the more, profitable part of the business, and. Like this is the thing. Do we really think this doesn't go on in America? No, it goes on in America, but it's not part of our media culture.
Yeah, it's not like in our movies. Like that's why this movie was kind of refreshing.
Tell your daughter, the film student, that this is like her first movie is like about organ harvesting. Yeah. This is gonna be the gritty 48 hours.
Yeah.
No,
look for a movie that's about some pretty grim things. I'm like. At least they're innovative and grim things. Like it's they're innovative. This isn't just Taken. Every movie's about a bunch of people in a. You can almost imagine the scene. You got a bunch of young girls in a shipping container somewhere.
I'm interested in this. What in this movie? Because you haven't really watched a lot of Korean dramas, or you watched Chicken Nugget.
I did. Yeah, that was a comedy.
You really enjoyed the Chicken Nugget.
I did.
Yeah, or Korean action films. What in this movie struck you as different than what you see in American dramas or action films?
First of all, there's some storytelling stuff that's in this that's really interesting. Like, for a movie that was probably, I don't know, an hour and a half, an hour and 45 minutes long, they took a quite a while before you get to, the action. Like, there's a lot of storytelling and character building.
Yeah.
Which, really cool. Like, it really makes that you're invested.
Yeah.
Right? But, like, again, the concepts behind this were just like, oh, how many movies do I see about organ harvesting? I don't see a lot.
I know. It's not like that's not happening. We know.
Yeah, all of this is like, look, if this was an American movie, the initial heist would have been a bag, which it was a bag full of drugs, but this was like 2 tiny little envelopes. In an American movie, it would have been a duffel bag filled with bricks of cocaine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It would have been like, you can't even lift it.
Like, it's so obvious. Like, there's nothing secretive about this.
Yeah. That girl would have not been able to pick this up. And but like, there's like, throughout this movie, like, you get shots of bodies that have clearly been harvested. You know what I mean?
So it starts with the cops about to, like, come down on a sting, on a stakeout, and there's a trade-off of money for something in a bag, and there's a guy that works. They're going to a bar, and there's a big guy who's clearly a gangster, and then there's a guy who works in the bar. So the guy the big guy, the gangster, drops off something, and the guy in the bar, Bear, drops off something, and the guy and the kid grabs it and takes it somewhere, and they're like, okay, he's made the trade off. Now we're gonna catch the bear. Now when the kid goes back into the locker room because he works at this bar.
The cops must think that he's the lesser of the two evils.
They're telling the operatives in the bar, let him go because we want to catch him with the goods, pretty much. And then we'll catch the bear, and then we'll make that connection between him and the guy that he dropped the shit off to. But while the kid is in the locker room, the entertainment, who is kind of a stripper, she knocks him unconscious with a taser and steals it. Yeah. So when they catch the kid, he doesn't have any goods, and so the big gangster guy.
I'm not even sure they caught the kid.
Yeah, he ran away. That's right. But they catch the gangster guy. That was a pretty cool fight scene.
And he gets away.
He gets off because there were no goods. They couldn't find any goods. Yeah. Right. So that's how it starts out.
And the bear works for the
main
Top
bad
Golf.
Guys.
No,
yeah.
Bear works for Top Golf.
That's right. He works for Top Golf.
Right. Who's not the main bad guy.
Yeah.
Like, he's just the guy who has made a partnership with
the money guy, right?
Dolce & Gabbana and Bulletproof.
Who are
the real bad guys.
Yeah, they're the brothers. They're the ones that are organ harvesting, and they're trying to, I guess, branch out into like drug running. And he's and Top Golf is the money guy who is their money connection to
But he pisses them off too.
Yeah,
he talks down to them. And
this is also a trope in Korean dramas and stuff. Like the main guys, they beat up the little guys. They abuse them and shit. So and Dolce & Gabbana and Bulletproof are not a big fan of this.
No, of course not, because they're both psychopaths.
No, so here's the thing. The stripper that steals the drugs is the mother, the heroin addict mother of the little kid who is friends with a pawn shop ghost, right? Man, this is getting really super complicated. But
look, all the machinations are like
they're part of
the story. But
they're
like,
fun.
This really is just a movie about pawn shop ghost
and the kid.
And the kid. The kid gets she gets caught up in the kidnapping of the mother because
she stole
the gangsters have gotten the drugs, so they're come back and they're like, and so pawn shop ghost is like on a quest to get the kid back.
Yeah,
that's really the.
He doesn't really like in the summary. It was like he's gonna he chases them because the mother and the daughter are kidnapped. No, he doesn't give a shit about the mother.
He's clearly an ex-con who's been lured back into the drug trade.
Exactly. You can ask for a better summary than that.
I wish I could edit that.
It's like, this is completely wrong.
Yeah. Maybe F for content.
Yeah, maybe one of you should watch this movie. But anyway, I don't want to get into. This is one of those that for us, because we spoil shit. This is great because this is too complicated for us to get into like nuts and bolts.
Yeah,
I feel like we should just go with the broad strokes. This is like a Terminator
this
style.
This is a revenge flick.
Well,
like, quite honestly, like he just wants to, and at the end, it is legitimately a revenge flick because he thinks that she's dead.
Yeah,
he wants nothing more than to kill some.
We're gonna talk a bunch of shit that's wildly confusing. Go watch the movie, man. We can't. We
definitely.
Can't, yeah, we.
I mean, this is 2 hours long. Come on, 2 hours.
Yeah, 2 hours of your life to watch this. One of the greatest Korean action films of all time.
Yeah, like one of the things that was an influence for John Wick,
and you can see it,
and you can definitely
see it. The guy was built
stylistically.
He was built like John Wick. He was wearing the same kind of suit as John Wick.
There were even some times when he was in profile. I was like, yeah, he kind of looks like Keanu.
Yeah. There's not as much gunplay. I mean, there's not gun fu or whatever it is, because in Korea guns are fairly rare. So there was a lot more sort of knife fights and just hand-to-hand combat. But fucking fantastic action sequences.
The action scenes were pretty...
Yeah.
And the kind of cool thing was a lot of the action was hidden in the first 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, you would just be like, yeah... All right, that guy comes to the pawn shop and is like, "You're gonna help us find the drugs," and he sends the bear in, and the you don't
even see it, but the next thing you see, the bear is on the ground, unconscious, and the bear is called the bear for a reason. He's gigantic.
Yeah,
but our hero takes him out with no problem.
Yeah,
and then the next thing you see is the guy with the bear shaking.
Yeah.
Like he's shaking.
Dolce & Gabbana calls the guy and he's like, what's going on up there? He's like,
something's come up.
Yeah. There's been complications up here.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, like, look, this guy kicks ass for a bunch of this movie. There's some innovative kills. There's
innovative kills. Here's the thing that I had a problem with.
All right.
Like when he's told to go deliver something to Topgolf at the Topgolf place. Like, he shows up unprepared. Like, he's not... This is a guy who you think would be like, okay, what are the angles? What's going to happen?
Right.
What's going on here? But he just... He
just walks in.
I kind of appreciate the fact that he is so capable. He's like, nobody's going to touch me. But...
Yeah, I think he also thinks that this is a transaction. Like, I do this thing,
but then
I walk away, and the girl walks away with me.
But he's too smart to believe that.
See, you know more about K-dramas than I do.
No, I don't know. I'm not. It's not even about K-dramas. It's about having a brain in your head. You're dealing with gangsters. They kidnapped the heroin-addicted mother and this child, and then they're saying, "Oh, if you do this, I'll just give them back to you." Really? Okay, I'm so stupid. I'm just going to be like, yeah,
well, especially since he's a military guy.
Honor among thieves. I mean, yeah. If I'm like, yeah, you told me, you the gangster who deals in drugs and weird shit.
Well, how about
and you're just going to give them back to me because you said so?
Well, how about this as a take? Because at that point, he doesn't really know why they've taken him or any of that. Like, he knows drugs are involved,
right?
But as far as he knows, they have the drugs back. Like, he gives them the bag, they find the drugs in it, and they walk out.
I just find that wildly naive for someone who is a military intelligence operative.
What I'm saying is that the non-naive thinking here would be that he needs more information, and so he's going along with their plan to figure out what's going on.
Yes, but I need a little bit more Batman action, like a plan. Like not you just walking in and saying, "I've delivered it,"
and getting thrown off of the second floor of Topgolf.
I'm gonna throw you into the field of Topgolf. Like, that's the dumbest thing, right?
Well, he legitimately seemed like surprised when he's like, "Here, I've delivered the thing."
I know, and I didn't like. I was like, "That's dumb." Like how stupid are you that you thought this?
Well, he's rusty. Look, he's been shot multiple times.
Don't throw me the rusty line. It's not flying.
He saw his wife get squished.
That's true. That'll F up anybody. In all honesty. Yeah.
Plus.
Mm-hmm.
He really only had one eye he could see out of.
I like you doing my thing. Yeah, well, that is a bit of a distraction. That's why
I did like our thing. Once he had a haircut, and he goes and he's like, what are you?
Exactly. There's a scene where he,
just look at this side of my face over here.
Like he gets one of the bad guys, and he's like, "Do you remember me?" And I'm like, "How can he remember you? You don't look anything the same. You cut all your hair off."
He's got one of those salon fantastic haircuts.
And then you were like,
trimmers in a bathroom.
How about now? Do you remember me now? I'm like, look at just this part right here. Do you remember that?
Yeah, maybe I'll shut up and not talk to you for a little while.
Exactly. That'll clue you in.
Oh man!
But it was just
this was top notch.
Yeah,
this was top notch.
Yeah.
This is top 10 movies for me.
Yeah, me too. Character development was fantastic. Action was like just that bit was where he gets and all honesty,
we haven't even talked about the feces corner.
It led to a cool thing. Like he gets caught at Topgolf because for the one part of the movie he acts like an idiot. Like that's just. This is the thing. You know my take on this. I like a Terminator. I love a movie
Unstoppable.
where the guy is and he was being built up to that. Like when the bear is like, okay, I'm gonna show him what's what, and all you see is the outside of the building where somebody gets smashed into the window.
But that's where I can think of like he's going into this situation knowing he can handle whatever's in there. He just wants to go in there to know what else, like what is actually going on.
But if he does that, I need that to be what happens. Like I need him to take everybody out, and not get like kicked in the head and hit with golf clubs or whatever was going on.
He's just surprised. I'm a little bit more forgiving of it, maybe because I'm thinking like this guy he's a bit cocky. He's going in there. He knows what's happening. He knows that it's a drug.
But that was the thing. That's the only thing.
And then he's taken aback when he's like, this guy across from me doesn't actually know what's going on.
No, but that's the thing. That's naive. Like when you go, if you're just like, oh, here, I'm going to give you some drugs, you do the drop.
But do you expect? Well, maybe
double cross.
Maybe you should expect bad guys to be
absolutely 100%, like all the time. Like
this is why bad guys don't rule the world. Wait a minute.
The one thing he did was put Chekhov's switchblade in his boot. The one thing he did was put Chekhov's switchblade in his boot.
Which allowed him to cut the net at Topgolf that he'd just been thrown onto.
But once again, that's
great visually, though.
I know.
It's a fantastic.
That's a bit of a
There's a lot of scenes in this movie that are pretty fantastic visually.
I didn't want him getting his ass kicked up in Topgolf and acting like, oh, this is unexpected.
Yeah.
Because he's every other time he's represented as the badass, the guy that knows what's going on, the guy that has the skills, and the fact that his wife got crushed by a runaway garbage truck also tells me that he has not watched enough K-dramas. We're gonna go down.
He had just bought the booties.
I know. We're gonna go down later, and I'm gonna ask my wife what is the most dangerous thing in Korea, and if she and there's a pretty good chance she's going to be like runaway trucks because this happens in Korean dramas all boom, 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 1, 2, 3.
He's working his way up and realizing who the bad guys actually are.
Right.
And then he also is realizing what the end game is.
Right.
These guys want these kids and women in order to harvest their...
Yeah, they're going to use them for their criminal enterprise until... such and such until they
the kids can be used as couriers until they're old enough to be ripe and harvested.
Yeah, and harvested for organs.
Yeah,
that's just some like nasty
it's some effed up
shit.
Stuff.
Yeah. I mean, okay, so when I was a kid, my dad liked Dirty Harry movies, right? Clint Eastwood.
Who didn't?
And when we were watching The Enforcer, I think, and he's like, "This is the thing about Dirty Harry movies. They make the villains." Like really villainous.
Yeah.
Like there's no question who the villain is.
Yeah.
And
the morally gray guy is still.
Yeah. But that's the thing. There's no morally gray guy in these in Love's Dirty Harry movies. You know who the bad guy is, and he's the guy that's about to get taken out.
But Dirty Harry is still like he's a cop that's like.
Well, I'm
also thinking of like Death Wish and those kind of movies.
Well, yeah, but I mean, Dirty Harry is a Reacher style cop.
Right.
Like, yeah.
Big ass gun.
There's never anybody he takes out that's not been represented as a bad guy.
Yeah,
like there's no moral gray there.
Yeah.
And this is one of those movies. There's no moral gray here. You know who these bad guys are. They are bad. And in all honesty, organ harvesting.
Yeah.
How
much money is in organ harvesting? It's got to be a lot.
I'm sure it is.
There's a bunch of rich ass pricks who got like young people. Like
they got young livers in them. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. Like, Well, yes. Look, even the guy who's like, it's a win-win. Everybody's okay. Like that girl's death, saved 3 lives. Sure, yeah, but those 3 people still gotta be on like all kind of drug cocktails for the rest of their lives.
Plus, they might be dipshits.
They might be crappy. Like just because they're rich and can afford it, maybe
this sweet, innocent young child's life saving 3 assholes' lives
is a net negative.
It's not a fair balance, really. There, yeah. I'm with you.
Yeah, so yeah, and then
I'm going to need a little bit more information.
Yeah, and there's got to be more money in drug trafficking than there is in organ harvesting. But I don't know. I
don't know.
It's a supply and demand problem.
Well, this shows up a lot in the Korean drama, so maybe it's just one of those things. Maybe it's their crime because drugs haven't really got in there quite the same degree.
I think, quite honestly, of all of the deaths, I think Dolce & Gabbana is probably the best for me. Because I do like a Rube Goldberg.
We say best by way of meaning that he's a terrible villain. Like he's represented in the movie as like Psycho, and he does terrible things. So when he goes and it's one where it's not an easy death, you applaud.
Yeah.
This is what action
he
movies
deserved
do.
To suffer a little bit, and he did suffer a bit, much more than Bulletproof.
Bulletproof. We call
Bulletproof should have deserved.
We call him Bulletproof because he was the big boss, and he got away, and our Pawn Shop Ghost was chasing him down, and he finally he blew out his tires as he was racing away, and he crashed. And when Pawn Shop Ghost got on the car to take him out, he has a bulletproof car, like all the the sunroof, everything is bulletproof. But here's the thing: bulletproof doesn't mean bulletproof. It just means
resistant,
really hard to get a bullet through. So and this is the thing:
if you really want to, you can.
But this is like
look, the quibble I have with that whole scene is that he's got the gun directly against the
Where's that bullet going to go?
The bullet's got to go somewhere.
Yeah.
Like
it's not going through that glass.
I mean, you angle it just a little away from your body. And shoot an inch away from it.
Otherwise, you're getting a bullet in the face.
Shrapnel at least.
I mean,
plus a blown up gun.
It's going to blow your gun up. Exactly. So
what we're saying is this movie sucks.
No. In all honesty, we will let that quibble go because it was a cool ass scene.
Course,
He blows a little hole in there, and then
all the guy had to do is change seats.
Yeah, Bulletproof is too dumb to. Maybe he was wearing a seatbelt, which I think is very responsible.
Well, he was talking some smack too. Look, like I said before, top 10 movie for me. Top 10% of the movies we've watched so far.
Really great movie.
The Man from Nowhere.
In the list that I'm putting on YouTube, it was number 11. It was well down for. Look, I appreciate Old Boy has, a lot of.
But do you want to suffer through a movie, or do you?
You have to be like, oh my god, I mean, it is influential beyond all doubt.
I need to go hug my daughter.
Exactly.
In a movie.
So this was a much more enjoyable watch than Old Boy.
And he earned the ending that he got. It's a morally kind of gray ending. In America, these kind of movies end with this guy of walking away, and the cops being like,
with the little girl,
"Good job."
Now his daughter. No, they're never good job, but there's always the main cop.
We can't prove a thing.
The main cop who's chased him is just get out of here. I'm not gonna,
you did the right thing.
Disappear. Yeah. You saved us a lot of trouble with the legal system. So
that did not happen in this movie.
And it's morally great because you don't know what's happening with this little girl.
Well, he was an ex-con after all.
so stupid, man.
I think I can speak for both of us by saying, absolutely watch this.
Man, you know what? Andy's month, where he picked Korean action movies, probably the best month ever.
Wow! You did pick well, though. I will tell you. We'll see what Madong Suk comes up with.
And if we end up watching Eternals or Parasite.
No, we'll watch Parasite.
We'll watch Parasite. Yeah.
This was all preordained.
I can't wait to see, because my wife wants to see Parasite. She's going to watch it with us. And, man, when she hears us talking shit about it the whole time.
Will that bother her?
No.
Verity does, I think Verity kind of likes it when we're watching a movie and,
we're talking crap.
Like, this was a great movie and we're still having a ball laughing at it.
We were talking a ton of smack, especially about the feces corner. Do you have a dog? Do you have a big dog? Yeah, I don't know. It's like the Wasteland, where it's all references to earlier pop culture media.
Yeah.
Oh, it was so fun. We had so many jokes. We need to start one day when this podcast hits. We'll film
do live recordings of it, and you can be like, beep, start now.
Exactly. No, we didn't say that about those characters. We didn't make fun of Madong Suk's name. We would never do that.
I did not make fun of Madong Sucks. I was just taken off guard.
I know.
I was taken off guard by Madong Sucks.
I put it on YouTube. I cut it tastefully. He does apologize. He's like, I'm
sorry.
I do. I'm sorry, Mr. Dong Suk. Dong Suk.
I'm very careful about that.
Well, here's the thing you have to understand about Korean names is that the main name comes first. Yeah. So it's not Mr. Dong Suk, it's Mr. Ma.
Yeah, of course. All right, anyway.
Maybe. I don't know. Too confusing.
Well, we'll ask him when we talk to him.
Ew,
I can't wait till he comes on the show.
Sure. All right, well, listen, the dame is...
You know what? I will say this. I would be more starstruck if Madong Suk came on here than if, frickin' Ryan Reynolds came on here.
Really?
I would be like, I could give a fuck about Ryan Reynolds, but if Madong Suk shows up, I'll be like, holy crap, man. Train from Busan? I mean,
he's more gettable, I think.
I can't even imagine. He's a huge star in Korea. Huge.
I'm sure.
Yeah. And we watched Out of the Badlands.
But look, we're talking Korea. We're talking about a country that is small enough to have license plates that only have 4 numbers on them.
Right,
so let's pump the brakes on that. It's
probably about the size of New Jersey, but
He's a huge deal in New Jersey.
No. Yeah, but he's in our wheelhouse, man. He makes movies that we like,
Well, he wasn't in this one.
Yeah, well.
And I like this one.
You'll like Train from Busan when you see it.
When I see it? What are you talking about?
No.
I see it.
Look, it's unavoidable, motherfucker. You're not getting away with that. You're gonna watch that one. Yeah.
Andy's like, we're rolling this podcast till then. At least until then.
Next month's over. It's all Korean monster movies.
No.
Wrap it up.
All right. Well, listen. The dame has spoken, so it is time for us to wrap it up.
No, that's not the one.
Oh, you want me to play the other one?
Yeah.
This is the one that we will, I think we'll talk about on Tuesday. And decide whether we like this one better.
Wrap it up, nerds.
No, do it again.
I gotta do it
talked over it.
Yeah, I talked over it. Sorry.
Ew, wrap it up, nerds.
Yes, the ennui. Yeah. Oh, so oppressive.
All right, well, the dame is on weed all over the place.
Yeah, on weed. That's right.
So it is time for us to wrap it up.
You guys are weird.